In 2025, Warframe is a strange anomaly in gaming. Most live service titles collapse under the weight of their own ambitions, or disappear when their publishers no longer see them as profitable. Yet this free-to-play looter shooter, first launched back in 2013, is not only still alive but thriving. It has become something like an institution, a persistent world and culture that players return to again and again, even as new competitors appear and vanish. Years ago, when the studio was in financial trouble, a handful of developers salvaged the assets and ideas, creating something radically unique. Space ninjas with guns, fast combat, and a free-to-play structure. Publishers did not like it, claiming free-to-play would never work on console, and that live service required a known franchise to survive. The developing studio ignored them, self-published the game, and put it in early access in 2013, with a promise to grow it alongside the community. That decision, to treat players as collaborators rather than customers, still shapes the game today. Warframe in 2025 is a sprawling, eccentric patchwork of systems that by all rights should have collapsed under their own contradictions. It is at once a horde-mode looter shooter, an MMO light with open hubs, a roguelike dungeon crawler, a skateboarding playground, a fishing simulator, a spaceship combat game, and a narrative-driven cinematic experience. Few titles would survive this kind of feature creep. Warframe thrives on it. The game's combat and movement remain its most intoxicating strength. Even a new player in 2025 can be surprised at how slick the mechanics feel, with bullet jumps, double leaps, slides, and melee attacks chaining into a sense of unstoppable momentum. The game makes you feel like a superhero and a ninja simultaneously, cutting down hordes of enemies with dazzling abilities. Warframes themselves, now numbering over 60, each offer distinct playstyles that range from elemental control to stealth to overwhelming firepower. The sheer variety ensures that no two players experience the game in exactly the same way, and the constant expansion of weapons, prime variants, and incarnate evolutions means the hunt for new toys never ends. For a first-time player, however, Warframe remains overwhelming. The game is notorious for its information overload. After the thrilling introduction, newcomers are often dropped into their personal ship with little direction, confronted with crafting systems, mastery ranks, syndicate standings, modding, arcanes, archon shards, and more. Many end up scouring the Warframe wiki or YouTube guides just to make sense of basic progression. This learning curve can push some away. For those who endure, it becomes part of the game's identity. Warframe is not meant to be mastered in a weekend. It is designed as a long-term relationship, a game you live in, piece by piece, until its systems reveal themselves. By 2025, it has taken on the role of a hub game for many players, a title they return to weekly for daily sorties, weekly Archon hunts, and the endless rhythm of crafting and upgrading. The grind is often the first criticism leveled at Warframe, and it remains central to its design. Crafting times can be harsh, with 12 hours for a weapon and 72 hours for a Warframe, and progression through mastery ranks is gated by timers. Drop tables stretch out the farming process for weeks at a time. Yet somehow the grind is also the glue that holds the game together. It is the long-term investment that gives value to your inventory, fuels the trading economy, and creates stories of perseverance. The difference between Warframe and many of its fallen competitors is that its grind does not hide a paywall. Almost everything can be earned for free. Premium currency, Platinum, is fully tradable between players, so cosmetics and convenience can be obtained without ever opening your wallet. You can pay to skip the grind, but you never need to. And for many players, skipping the grind would feel like missing the point, because the process of building, farming, and crafting is the heart of the experience. The community has always been Warframe's greatest strength. Players describe it as one of the most welcoming in gaming, with veterans helping newcomers by trading starter kits or hopping into missions to explain mechanics. This culture of generosity is not accidental. Digital Extremes has spent over a decade building a uniquely intimate relationship with its players. Weekly Div streams allow anyone to tune in, ask questions, and even see developers take notes live on feedback. TennaCon, the annual convention, is both a celebration of community and a platform for revealing new updates. Developers are visible, accessible, and passionate, with many of them, like Rebecca Ford, rising from community-facing roles to directing the game itself. This closeness between creators and players is something other studios have tried to copy and failed, because it requires genuine trust and care rather than surface-level engagement. Narratively, Warframe has come a long way from its early reputation as a game without a story. Starting with the second dream, cinematic quests have transformed it into one of the most ambitious science fiction universes in gaming. Each expansion pushes the boundaries further. The new War and Whispers in the Walls expanded the lore dramatically, and the recent 1999 update experiments with half-human, half-frame characters that echo the studio's earliest inspirations. The writing has grown more character-driven, with voice talent drawn from major franchises lending gravitas, and new systems that allow players to build relationships with NPCs add depth beyond the gunplay. What was once an afterthought is now a key reason players stay invested, eager to see where the sprawling, bizarre narrative will go next. Warframe's monetization continues to spark debate. Some players argue it is not pay to win, since everything can be earned in-game. Others counter that being able to buy nearly anything with money makes it pay to win by definition. Both perspectives are correct in a sense. What makes Warframe unusual is that it allows players to decide which path they want to take. You can spend heavily to shortcut progress, or you can grind and trade your way to the same results. The system is flexible, fair, and crucially, it never forces the player's hand. This fairness has sustained trust, even as players complain about time gates or daily caps. The reason Warframe is still being played in 2025 is a combination of all of these factors. The combat remains exhilarating and unmatched. The depth of content is endless, with over a decade of expansions layered into a sprawling star chart of missions, open worlds, and quests. The monetization respects the player's time and wallet, avoiding the predatory traps that have sunk so many other live service games. The community is welcoming, enthusiastic, and bound tightly to the developers who listen to them. And the game itself never stops evolving. Each major update feels like a sequel. Players who return after a break often find whole new modes, systems, and storylines waiting for them. Warframe in 2025 is not easy to get started. Newcomers still struggle with its dense systems. Crafting timers and grind walls remain divisive. Side modes like Railjack have not achieved their full potential, yet its imperfections are part of its charm. Warframe has never been about polish in the traditional sense. It has always been a living, messy, community-built experiment, stitched together by passion and perseverance. In an era where so many games are designed to extract as much money as possible before being shut down, Warframe's continued existence feels almost rebellious. It should not be here in 2025, but it is, thriving against all odds. And perhaps that is the clearest explanation of its appeal. Warframe endures because it was never built as a product to be discarded.